Have you ever felt like real holiness, true sainthood, was kind of reserved for a select few? Like for monks and mystics, but maybe not for you and me? Well, the great spiritual master St. Francis de Sales had this totally revolutionary idea. Sainthood is for everyone. But, and this is a big but, he taught that it's not some passive journey. Oh no, it's an active spiritual battle. So let's dive into his blueprint for the soul, a guide to winning that fight through 3 really powerful renunciations. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack this foundational idea of a universal call to holiness. Then we'll get into the 3 key battles: renouncing the world, subduing the flesh, and surrendering the self. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at a super practical blueprint for how you can actually start this journey today. So, let's kick things off with the foundation of this entire blueprint, the universal call to holiness. This is the core teaching from St. Francis de Sales that just completely shatters the myth that sainthood is only for a special club of priests or nuns. It's actually hard to overstate just how radical this was back then. St. Francis de Sales was insisting that devotion belongs to everybody. The soldier, the husband or wife, the person working in a shop, everyone is called to what he called the perfection of love. This is a call for you and for me right here, right now. But here's the catch. This gentle call to love comes with a pretty big challenge. St. Francis taught that the spiritual life isn't about just kicking back and waiting for grace to fall into your lap. Nope. It's an active, constant struggle, a kind of holy warfare. So what is this holy warfare he's talking about? Well, it's this ongoing fight against the 3 great enemies of the soul: the world, the flesh, and the self. And this isn't a new idea, by the way. Spiritual giants like St. Augustine saw people devoted to God as soldiers signed up for a kind of divine army. And that brings us to our first strategic target in this holy war. Let's talk about battle number 1, renouncing the world. This is our fight against the most external enemy. So this is step 1. This first renunciation is the foundational move in our spiritual climb. Think of it like a military campaign, right? You have to secure the perimeter before you can even think about storming the castle. We have to start with what's outside of us before we can work our way in. Now, it's super important to understand what he means by the world. He's not talking about trees and mountains and puppies. He thought creation was good. No, he means our disordered attachment to things. Our obsession with status, what people think of us, and all our stuff. He even called them baubles, like shiny, meaningless trinkets. This battle is all about untangling our identity from all that external noise. And the perfect example of this, the Virgin Mary. Now, there's this really fascinating spiritual tradition that says Mary, unlike any other baby, had the full use of her reason from the moment she was born. So just stop and think about what that means for a second. For her, being treated like a helpless infant wasn't just how things were. It was a constant chosen act of humility, a willing sacrifice of all the honor she was actually owed. Okay, so once we start engaging that external enemy, the fight moves inward. And that brings us to battle number 2, subduing the flesh. This is the fight against the enemy that we carry around inside of us every single day. This is the second stage, and honestly, it's a lot harder. See, unlike the world, which we can kind of put some distance between, this enemy doesn't stay on the outside. It's the enemy within, and it's with us always. The source material just captures this struggle perfectly. It describes the flesh as the mortal enemy that always accompanies you. It's this relentless force, constantly trying to pull our spirit down toward just comfort and our own disordered desires. And once again, this spiritual tradition holds up Mary as the perfect model. If she really had the use of reason as a baby, then all those simple things, being held, being covered up, being rocked to sleep, they weren't just passive experiences for her. They were conscious, willed acts of mortification, of renouncing her own physical wants for the sake of obedience. It paints a picture of a constant, silent battle against the self. So, from the flesh, we move on to the final and most decisive struggle. Welcome to battle number 3, surrendering the self. This is it, the final assault on the very fortress of our being. This is the third and final stage. After battling the world without and the flesh within, we finally arrive at the absolute pinnacle of Christian perfection. This is the highest, and without a doubt, the most difficult part of the whole spiritual journey, the surrender of the self. The goal here is, wow, it's radical. It's not just about giving up bad stuff anymore.
It's about surrendering our own will even in good things. It's about getting to a place of such total self-offering that we can honestly say, like St. Paul did, "It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me."
Mary's entire life is basically a masterclass in this kind of surrender. As you can see here, every key moment was an act of obedience. Being brought to the temple by her parents, being given in marriage, traveling to Bethlehem for a government decree, fleeing to Egypt on God's command. Her whole life was this continual subjection to the will of someone else, and it all culminates in her standing at the foot of the cross, not just putting up with her son's death, but actively consenting to it as God's will. I mean, that is total surrender.
So, just to recap, here's the blueprint. It's a 3-stage climb. You start by detaching from the external world. Then, you work on the internal desires of the flesh. And finally, you surrender the very citadel of your own will. Each step builds on the one before it. Now, to really grasp the mystery at the heart of this self-surrender, St. Francis de Sales uses this absolutely beautiful analogy from St. Augustine, comparing Jesus on the cross to an almond.
So here's how the analogy works. The rough, fuzzy outer covering of the almond, that's Christ's beaten and bruised humanity. The hard shell inside, that's the wood of the cross itself. And the sweet nut on the inside, that's his divinity. And the point is, it was only when the hard shell of the cross crushed his humanity that his divinity could be released, pouring out that sweet oil of mercy on all of us. Okay, I know all this might seem really lofty and, well, abstract, but the beauty of this blueprint is that it can be applied in super concrete ways. So let's look at a blueprint for action that you can start using today.
The question is pretty simple. How do you even begin? You don't have to go join a monastery or do some grand, heroic gesture. You start with small, simple daily actions.
So here's a really simple daily plan. First, for renunciation of the world, try setting aside one worldly concern. Maybe that's just turning off the news for an hour or deciding not to worry about what other people think for a little while. Second, for mortification of the flesh, practice one tiny act of self-denial, like choosing to say a kind word when you feel really irritated. And third, for the surrender of the self, in just one small decision today, consciously ask, what does God will, instead of just, what do I want? Because ultimately, that's the entire point of this spiritual blueprint. The goal of all these renunciations isn't just about self-denial for the sake of it. It's about emptying our hearts of all the clutter, the worldly attachments, the selfish desires, to make room, to prepare an empty, quiet space made ready for the arrival of a king.